Oh my gosh, ladies and gentlemen, I cannot be more excited to record this video. I don't think I need to tell you my most drafted player is. I think y'all know by now, but we will talk about him a little later on. Before we get to anything here, make sure you drop a like on this video. Subscribe to the channel if you play fantasy football. If you have any questions, feel free to drop them down there in that comment section. And super excited that this week I'm going to get everybody here a free bet on Underdog. I know 99% of y'all are already on Underdog Fantasy. If you signed up with promo code FLOCK, this week you are going to get a free Patrick Mahomes bet more than less than half a passing yard, only if you signed up with promo code FLOCK. Not too late. If you have not done so already, you can find the link in the description. Find the link in the comment section. When you sign up to Underdog with promo code FLOCK, they're going to match your first deposit dollar for dollar up to $100. Only with promo code FLOCK, you're going to get the free Patrick Mahomes bet this week. More than less than half a passing touchdown. Available in damn near every state. But I think that should be it. Let's not waste any time. Let's dive into it and go into a running back that has been the easiest sell-high player for us over the past month. Dameon Pierce. Obviously, it's too late to sell him. I'm assuming you're past your deadline. Even if you weren't, everybody kind of realizes what Dameon Pierce is now. He's a talented running back in one of the league's worst offenses that does not catch the football. I'm not going to talk about this too much. We've talked about it for God knows how long now. If you are a running back that does not catch the ball and you're playing in a horrendous offense where your touchdown ceiling is going to be capped, what do you provide? Where are the high value touches coming from in a full PPR format? They're just non-existent. Now with Dameon Pierce, I think we can all clearly agree that no, he is not. I mean, the RB1 some people thought that he was going to be, but the real question is he good enough to start? Because I told people to start him this week. We knew he wasn't, Kenneth Walker caliber. We've always known that. I thought at least he was going to be a mid RB2 this week. I think we had him ranked around the running back 16, 17. How low do y'all think we have to move this guy? But I will guarantee you, we're moving him below whoever the starting running back is for the Cincinnati Bengals. Samaje Perine coming out this week, having himself a day, 17 carries, the rushing touchdown, gets 7 targets out of the backfield as well. I mean, we could just safely say this is a phenomenal Cincinnati Bengals offense. It doesn't matter who is there. You have such good quarterback play from Patrick Mahomes over the past 3 weeks with no Jamar Chase has led the Cincinnati Bengals to a 42-point win against the Carolina Panthers, 37 points against the Pittsburgh Steelers, 20 points against the Tennessee Titans now with no Mixon and no Jamar Chase. Joe Burrow looks like if he didn't have that slow stretch at the beginning of the season, he could be up there with Patrick Mahomes for the MVP race this year. And it looks like you're starting any running back that's going to be attached to Joe Burrow. Now, a quarterback that may be saving a team is going to be Mike White. Now, going into this week, Zach Wilson this entire season had 4 passing touchdowns. Mike White in 29 passing attempts this week had 3. Mike White looks phenomenal. Mike White looks like he may be saving the New York Jets offense. Now, don't pay attention to the running backs here. Michael Carter ended up spraining his ankle. Obviously, James Robinson was healthy and active. We're going to look into this, and we'll give you an update in the waiver wire running back video tomorrow. Just make sure you are subscribed to the channel. Going over to the wide receiver side of things, though, Garrett Wilson coming through 8 targets, 5 receptions, 95 receiving yards, and multiple receiving touchdowns. Super exciting. Elijah Moore, do not get excited about him. I know Elijah Moore is the name value. I know some of y'all drafted Elijah Moore way too high this year. Don't buy into him now. He had 2 targets. Now, yes, with those 2 targets, he has 64 yards and a receiving touchdown. But no, the target volume's not there for Elijah Moore. You buy into Garrett Wilson. Now, going over to what we have with the Bears, things are falling apart. Looks like Darnell Mooney's out for the season. Darnell Mooney out for the year. Khalil Herbert on the IR. Justin Fields still injured. And at the same time, you have minor injuries. We're going to get more updates later this week to Equanimeous St. Brown, to Chase Claypool. Who else is left? Like David Montgomery, I thought was going to be someone viable here. But if everybody's out of this offense, where Chicago just goes to being possibly the worst offense in the NFL, and now we have Darrington Evans somewhat being used. I mean, Darrington Evans had 9 carries this week. I don't know if we can be excited about David Montgomery, even if Khalil Herbert's not in here. Now, going over to the Atlanta Falcons, I do want to highlight Cordell Patterson. Y'all know with Cordell Patterson, a running back that I'm rooting for, we've been saying you can't start the man because Tyler Allgeier's been playing more snaps. Now, this is the first week in a long time where Cordell Patterson led the Atlanta Falcons in snaps. Very positive sign. He had 33 out of 57 snaps. Tyler Allgeier only had 22. You still had Avery Williams, Caleb Huntley getting some involvement here, which is going to be a little frustrating. I mean, what's really nice to see is you have Cordell Patterson with 5 targets out of the backfield this week. That has to be a season high for him this year when you have absolutely no passing volume from Marcus Mariota. So Cordell Patterson, I mean, now is going to be a borderline flex play for us. If he continues to trend in this direction, I think eventually he can be someone we're getting in there in that flex spot. Now, going over to Washington, I need to take a fat L. I thought that Antonio Gibson was in a great spot. Loved the matchup against Atlanta. We thought a running back was going to score a lot of points, and we thought that running back was going to be Antonio Gibson because last week, he had about 70% of the snaps here. I mean, he was getting every target out of the backfield with no J.D. McKissic in this offense. And Brian Robinson comes out here and he tells us that he is the captain now. Brian Robinson has 18 carries, 105 rushing yards. Brian Robinson, 2 receptions for 20 receiving yards and the receiving touchdown. Coming into this week, Brian Robinson had 7 total receiving yards this entire season. Brian Robinson went from having 7 total receiving yards this entire year to now picking up 20, almost tripling it in a single game, getting the receiving touchdown as well. I don't know who to buy into for Washington. I mean, like we said, 2 weeks ago, it was Brian Robinson. Last week, it was Antonio Gibson. This week, it was Brian Robinson. I don't know, ladies and gentlemen. Now, our next spot, I think it's safe to say that if Leonard Fournette were to miss, Rachaad White is a borderline top 6-7 running back any given week. With Rachaad White, we knew he was going to see the majority of the snaps out of this backfield. We know that he was a phenomenal passing down option. I thought he was going to see about 75% of the snaps. He saw almost 100%. You had Rachaad White with 62 out of 69 snaps this week. Rachaad White ran 35 routes. Rachaad White had 9 receptions, 45 receiving yards. Find a player in a full PPR format that has a better overall opportunity share in his offense than this. Find a better workload. It's hard to in that full PPR league. Of course, this is going to be something we have to monitor because if Fournette comes back, it's going to get ugly. Now, going over to Baltimore, an ugly spot that I'm honestly a little surprised about. Gus Edwards, someone I did not consider at all in our starting lineup this week. Thought Gus Edwards was nasty because it was going to be a 3-man running back by committee. Gus Edwards will never catch the ball. It was a pseudo 3-man running back by committee whenever you had Gus Edwards 36 snaps compared to Kenyon Drake at 18, Justice Hill at 14. I mean, Gus Edwards saves himself with the rushing touchdown this week, but still draws 0 targets out of the backfield. Please don't be starting Gus Edwards going forward. Don't think this is a breakout game for Edwards. But maybe this is a breakout game for Zay Jones. I don't freaking know here. In Jacksonville, we were saying Christian Kirk was a must-start option. My only hesitation with Christian Kirk is I thought there was going to be enough passing volume in this offense. I thought that Trevor Lawrence may not necessarily be good enough for Kirk to be a wide receiver 1. Well, that's not the case at all. What the issue was is not Trevor Lawrence, who had 321 passing yards and 3 passing touchdowns. None of this going to Etienne, who hurts his foot. We're going to have to update y'all on this tomorrow. Just make sure you're subscribed. Zay Jones is 145 receiving yards off of 14 targets and 11 receptions. We looked at the underdog props this weekend, and we looked at the fact that underdog had Zay Jones ahead of Donovan Peoples-Jones, and I laughed. I said, okay, underdog 100% usually knows more than we do, but what are they doing here? Having Zay Jones ahead of Donovan Peoples-Jones with their receiving opportunity. Oh my gosh, Zay Jones just crushing it in Jacksonville. 14 targets. I mean, Christian Kirk still had 9, right? Christian Kirk still had 9, so it is what it is. Well, we'll be updating the running back situation in that waiver wire video. But going over to our guy, the reason why we are going to be, Daffy Duck, whatever the duck in the animation is, swimming in the pool of coins. That's going to be us in the offseason. When we get paid out of all our Josh Jacobs drafts. Josh Jacobs, my most drafted player, my most drafted running back in fantasy this year, had 300 yards. Let me just read you the stat line. 33 carries, 229 rushing yards, 2 rushing touchdowns, 6 receptions, 74 receiving yards, over 300 yards. Just imagine. I don't want to get too greedy here, but if Amir Abdullah would not have stolen a receiving touchdown, if Amir Abdullah would have given that to Josh Jacobs, I would probably be jumping up and down doing cartwheels right now on this video. I'm so excited. I don't know how high is too high for Josh Jacobs in our rest of season running back rankings. Please let me know what you're thinking in the comment section. Now, going over to the other side of the ball, I mean, Kenneth Walker does play a ton of snaps. Kenneth Walker, my second most drafted running back in fantasy, so you know we're rooting for our guy. I mean, he gets 2 rushing touchdowns, which is great, but I mean, still, the usage in the receiving game really isn't there. He only has 1 target out of the backfield. Incredibly inefficient, where he only has 26 rushing yards off of 14 carries. Hopefully, this is something we shouldn't be too worried about going forward, but I don't know. It's just an interesting spot with Kenneth Walker. I feel like we kind of get bailed out by the touchdowns. But going over to what a true bell cow running back looks like, it would be difficult to find a running back that has a better snap share than James Conner in fantasy football right now. James Conner, 25 carries. James Conner gets the 3 receptions. James Conner plays almost every single snap. He misses 2 snaps in this game. He looks like 2019 Christian McCaffrey out there with his snaps. Must start player until we see otherwise. I mean, clearly this is a team that believes in him. Clearly is fully healthy. Please rank James Conner as a borderline top 5-6 running back rest of season. But I do owe everybody a massive apology. This is 100% on me. I can't blame it on anybody else. We should not have started anybody for the New Orleans Saints. This has nothing to do with New Orleans. This has nothing to do with their offense. But the San Francisco 49ers may have the best defense in the NFL right now if it's not for the Dallas Cowboys. And everybody knew this in the live streams. Everybody was telling me, Mason, I'm terrified with Alvin Kamara. Mason, I'm terrified with Chris Olave. Can we bench these guys for X, Y, and Z? And we said, nope. Still got to play Alvin Kamara. Still got to play Chris Olave, even though it's a tough matchup. I'm sorry. That's 100% my fault. You have Olave with 9 targets, 5 receptions, 62 receiving yards. Kamara gets involved as a pass catcher, 7 targets, 6 receptions, 37 receiving yards. But it simply just doesn't matter with how dominant this San Francisco 49ers defense is, where they just completely shut out the New Orleans Saints. I am sorry. That's on me. If you started those 2 players because of my advice, you can 100% blame it on me. Now, diving into the 49ers offense, hell, there's still too many cooks in the kitchen. We're going to have to continue to monitor the injury that we have with Elijah Mitchell. Maybe this is what unlocks Christian McCaffrey here. But outside of that, like CMC sees 11 carries out of 29 total in this offense. I mean, with all the receivers, you have Brandon Ayuk, 5 receptions. Juwan Jennings, 6. Deebo Samuel, 3 receptions. George Kittle, 3 receptions. CMC, 4 receptions. It's just very difficult if you're in this 49ers offense, as we've been saying, to sell all these players for a while now, to be a consistent option when there are so many big names here, when this is such a good football team where they are just going to be looking to run the ball over and over again. I don't know who you would ever start. Now, going over to the Rams, we can confidently say bench every player. Kyren Williams saw the most snaps. Kyren Williams saw the most touches. We'll get into this in the waiver wire video, but let's just have a quick overview. You bench every Los Angeles Ram. Going over to the Kansas City Chiefs side of things, you had 42 pass attempts for Patrick Mahomes. I mean, I have no idea what they're doing, making Patrick Mahomes drop back this much. Like, this is like when varsity plays JV. Like, can we not protect Mahomes a little bit here? This game had a 15.5 point spread. But anyway, with 42 pass attempts, the team leader in receptions at 5 was Sky Moore. Behind that, you had Kelsey and MVS at 4. You had Juju at 3. Then you get 2 to Justin Watson, 2 to Jody Fortson, 3 to Jarrett McKinnon, 1 to Ronald Jones, 1 to Isaiah Pacheco, and 2 to Noah Gray. So, looks like the target distribution is going to be way too high here in Kansas City to be too excited about anybody not named Travis Kelce or Patrick Mahomes. But what I'm very excited about with Patrick Mahomes is the fact that you can check out this free player prop on Underdog this week. Only if you signed up with promo code FLOCK. 99% of y'all are already on there. And yes, you have access to this even if you signed with Underdog 2 years ago with promo code FLOCK. It's not too late if you have not done so yet. You can find the link in the comment section. Find in the description. When you sign up to Underdog Fantasy with promo code FLOCK, they're going to match your first deposit dollar for dollar up to $200. So it's essentially free to check out. And you'll get a free Patrick Mahomes more than less than half a passing yard bet this week. Make sure you're taking advantage of that. Available in damn near every state. Outside of that, go down there, drop a like on this video. If you have any questions, feel free to drop them down in the comment section. Thank you again. I truly do appreciate you. I appreciate all the support, and I really hope we get to see you out in the live stream Monday night.